is a card game, Spots and Stripes, the original card game for boys and girls. I can be a boy. Well, I am a boy, but you know what I mean.
Well, if you got a dollar on just a lousy down, know that I got rhythm that could suit your budget fine. You can take or leave me, but you ain't got much time, 'cause I just keep on rolling down the line.
Hey, this is Patrick with Trusty Mercantile. Welcome to my channel. If you've been following my channel or maybe a little bit more of my social media, you've noticed that a few things have been changing for me over the last several weeks and months. And one of the biggest ones is that my daughter, is the Huckster Helper, has graduated with her master's degree in museum studies. And she is starting her position as curator of a suburban museum in the Chicagoland area. So yay, she's coming home. What that also means is she is getting her own apartment. So she has had a place here in my home. She's also had a place with her mother in her mother's home. And now she's going to get her own place. And that means that she is taking everything out of her bedroom here to take to her new place. And I'm going to have an extra bedroom. Well, I don't need an extra bedroom, so I am turning it into a game room. So, in true Trusty fashion, I can't do things just halfway. I decided as I was on my last sourcing trip to start sourcing items to use and or to decorate the game room that I will have at my fingertips once she's moved out. Not that I'm counting the days or anything, but it's less than a month. So this is a little video. I'm just going to showcase a little bit about board games. It is something that I really enjoy. Admittedly, particularly since the pandemic, I haven't had as much opportunity to host people to play the games or to go other places to play games, but I have a pretty extensive collection, which has been slightly pilfered by the Huckster Helper as she has built her own game collection. Don't think I didn't notice that, Amelia. But that's fine. Quality over quantity. So I decided I was looking for new games. I can't say that I really followed the gaming industry all that much. And one of the places I went, and a fun place to find them, is at flea market. So I was at a flea market on the East Coast, and I found this selection of games. Now, I know nothing about these games. The one thing I will say that I find fascinating, I bought this one, this Robot Riddle, which seems to be about robots. And this game called Robots or Robots, you would think they're related. They are not. They are not by the same creator, and they are not by the same gaming company. I did not realize that at the time. I'm fascinated by this. But so we'll start with the big one. These are all still sealed in their original packaging. And I think this one I paid either $2 or $3 for. And the little ones, I know I paid $1 each. So I'm kind of the opinion I could play this once, and if it ends up not being that fun of a game, I still have got my couple dollars worth. So this is Robot Riddle Storybook Adventures. This is from Baba Geek Games, and the artwork, it all seems very professionally done. Like, this is not something that somebody made in their basement and tried to sell at a flea market. This is something that would have been carried by probably a gaming retailer. It's got a website. Now, it's a company I'm not familiar with, Magic Craft, made in China, New Hampshire, USA, 2017. So, a little bit older. But this is going to go into the gaming collection and, find some people and be able to play it. Robots is from Quick, Simple, Fun Games. Same thing. Again, this is not something that somebody just kind of like scratched together on Post-it notes. This was a game that I'm sure was sold in a retail environment. It is still sealed in its original packaging for $1. I will definitely give it a try. The other ones that were $1 were Ninjitsu. So another small game. I think they were pricing them based on the size. The big ones were $2 or $3, and the little ones were $1. So this one, a game of chaos and subterfuge for 2 to 5 players. I'm always good for chaos and subterfuge. And then this one is Control. In this quick and easy pick up and play game, you are a time traveler. Love time travel themes. You are a time traveler fighting to escape a rupture in space-time. Use strategy as you refuel your time machine and stop other players from refueling their first. Will you escape? So again, some pretty cool art for the cover, some interesting graphics on the individual cards. For $1, really can't go wrong.
This one.
Oh, I missed this one. This was one other one that I picked up. Actually, Huckster Helper was with me when I found this one. This was actually at a mom and pop game store. And I always like to support those game stores because they got a hard time. Everyone goes in there, plays a game, loves the game, like, oh, this is so awesome. And then they go buy it from an online retailer where they feel they can get it cheaper. Yeah, support the mom and pop retailers. So this one happened to be a set of games that they had off on the side. I don't know if they were consignment. I don't know what they were, but they were pre-owned games. Maybe they were sample games that they used to play in the store. So it was open, but I went through it. It looked like it was complete. And, you know, kind of looked like I've got a degree in chemistry, kind of looked like a wizard chemist kind of thing, called Unlocked: The Mansion of Mana. So, you know, open it up, and some of the things you get with it are the little plastic gems. I'm good. Sign me up. And then you also have these little neon ghost figures, shadow minions. Give me a minion, I'm on board. So that is a game that I will actually play. I kind of forgot that was sitting off to the side. But that's not the main thing I wanted to show you, because until I play them, and I know there are channels that do play with me games, I've got to figure out how to play these first. So that's not something I'm trying to tackle in this channel or in this video. What I thought would be of more interest is, so those are going to be added to the games collection to actually play. I also picked up some that I'm going to be using basically for decor. So we're going to start with things that fall on the floor. This I could not pass up. Do I have it right side up? Yes, I do. First of all, does anyone recognize this? I did not. I should have, because this is absolutely of my childhood era, but I did not own this game, so I did not recognize this. I do not believe I've ever played it. Let's see. Is there any hints I can give? Well, there's a hospital in the upper corner. And, well, there's some images from the television show, but they're probably too far away for you to see. And at the bottom, it's the giveaway. It is the emergency board game. Okay, unfortunately, it's just the board. So, you know, sometimes at a flea market, they'll sell things like this. Again, I think I paid $2 for this, only for the art. You know, this is going to get hung on the wall. It's going to look cool. And, you know, for some people, it might, you know, remind them. This would have been late 70s, I would say. I'm trying to think like when Emergency would have been on. Probably like 77-ish, you know, around the time of Chips, you know, all that kind of stuff. So, you know, it looks like it's got all the streets. There must have been pieces to move because everything's done. Everything is done in grids. So there must have been a dice to roll. Maybe there were cards. I don't really care. I'm not going to try and play this. I'm just going to hang this on the wall, and I am going to have, oh, wait a minute, I don't remember their names. So I'm going to have the two paramedics on my wall. It's like, I started naming the ones from Chips, but that's Ponch and John. I do not remember the emergency characters, but anyway, that was just a fun pickup that I will use for decor. What flew to the floor is a card game, Spots and Stripes, the original card game for boys and girls. I can be a boy. Well, I am a boy, but you know what I mean. So this is 41 cards, all different, a full color, easy rules for play and size, especially for boys and girls, 5 to 13. Okay, well, we're a little exponential on the 13, but that's okay. Again, I don't know if I'm going to play this game. Maybe, you know, maybe just for kicks, we might play it. It did have the rules, which I was encouraged because I would have no idea how to play Spots and Stripes, a domino game. But it appears to literally be a game of dominoes using cards. So that's the top of the cards. So, you know, you've got the deck of all of those. And then the cards themselves are like dominoes that you line up just like dominoes. So I don't know if there's anything more to play than just stringing them along like a matching game. But I thought the box looked kind of cool. So even if that just sits on a shelf, it's fun. It's different. And let's see, when was this? This is also not a game I recognized from my childhood. This probably predates my childhood, I would guess. It does not have a year. Does it have a year in the rules? It doesn't have a year, and it does not have an address. So sometimes you can tell by the zip code. There is no zip code for Chicago or New York. So that means it's probably a little bit older. So I don't know. It's just a fun box. I think I paid $1, for the game. And that's just something, if you have the right idea, you always run the risk that you're going to find a game that doesn't have all of its pieces. That is a possibility. And, just like if you try and buy a puzzle at Goodwill, you might buy and some of the pieces are missing. But if you're just doing it for the fun of it, is it something you could still play? Like if it's missing a little piece that you move around, then you just get a button and suddenly you've got something, or a dime, you've got something to move around the board. So we shall see. The other item I picked up, and this was also entirely for decor, was a Chinese checkers game. This is the Hop Ching Checkers, and it's from Pressman and Company, New York, New York, no zip code. I don't know. I would say this is probably 60s. It's paperboard with a wood frame. So it's actually kind of nice. It's not plastic or anything. But I didn't get the marbles, didn't get the instructions, just got the frame. And I think something like this hanging on the wall, it's very colorful. Everyone will recognize it. It was something I wanted to add for decor. Box behind me. Now, this falls in the category of a game that I was not familiar with. So Boondoggle, the Game of Comic Elections. The box is very large, as you can see, and it's unfortunately not in very good condition. But the game is in here. So this one is from Selchow and Richter, New York, New York. And it has a little catalog, I guess. And the catalog has a 2-digit zip code for New York. So this makes it prior to 1963. So assuming that this was in the box, I have no reason why it wouldn't have come in the box. Like, why would someone add this to the box later? So this is an order form for all of their games. And some of them I was familiar with. Cavalcade, Snake Eyes, Safari, Cabby, Parcheesi, Meet the Presidents, Boondoggle, which is what we're going to show here, Globetrotters, Mystery, and there's just art on all of these. The reason this is relevant is because one of the things that I'm going to be doing as part of the decor for the game room, I can't pass up my ephemera. I love my ephemera, and I like to be able to decorate with ephemera. So this one might be a little bit hard because of the length of it, but I'm actually going to frame the rule books and these kind of catalogs. So I'll actually show you some more that I picked up along the way as well, because they're just kind of a fun, inexpensive decorating idea. Because if you just have loose rules, there is a market to sell them or to buy them online, because people will lose the rules. But at this point, you can get most of the rules just, on the internet. So if you can sometimes find games that are missing pieces, or at a garage sale or a flea market, just in stacks of papers, they'll just have things like this that people don't see a value to. So you can pick up rule books pretty inexpensively. So anyway, this came with the game. So kind of a bonus, because the game itself looks kind of cool. I'll have to figure out how to play it. There's different cards. So there's a deck of cards that are high hat parties, all political parties. There are cards. Draw 3 vote cards. As dog catcher, you bagged 3 Airedales on election eve. Draw 3 vote cards. So you've got, and that's on the back of it, Middle West grab bag, Wild West grab bag. So there's a lot of things. I'm going to figure out how to play it. A die. I think the original markers, kind of these little wood markers. But the reason I got it, actually, like the rule book or that catalog was actually a pretty main reason I got it. But one of the reasons I got it, first of all, it came from a viewer. Dave is a viewer that lives locally, and he sells at the Kane County Flea Market. And so I always stop by his booth, and he always has ephemera squirreled away, because, if you set it out, it gets damaged. So he had this setting on the side. And check out the game board. Let's see. So you've got a panel here, and it unfolds, and it unfolds, and it unfolds until you have this massive straight road piece. So this, I think, is going to look fantastic hanging on the wall because I can keep the angles to it, like if I wanted to do it, but it really goes all straight. So I can just do this on a really narrow wall, like next to the closet or something. It's just going to look cool. And even if people don't know the game, which I don't know the game, it's still going to be a pretty cool. And the game with the board with all the pieces, I hope they're all there, but I don't even care if they're not. And I think the rules were, the rules were actually inside the lid. So I've got the rules plus that catalog. He gave me a great price on it, and I am super happy to have that as part of my decor. So I thought that was kind of an exciting one to pick up. I also picked up, I mentioned the Salchow and Richter company does Parcheesi. Well, at the Goodwill, I found a Parcheesi board game. And it is an old-ish version of it. Nothing particularly special, but again, one of the reasons I got it inside was another catalog. So this is the old pre-1963 catalog. This one's probably from the 70s or the 80s. It has a 5-digit zip code, so it's definitely after 63, but you can just kind of look. Her sweater is screaming like 1983. So we shall see if I can actually tie this down. This is Scrabble games, fun of all kinds, fun with your kids, fun with words, fun with trivia. They did Trivial Pursuit. So this will be a fun one to either frame just like this or to frame the full catalog opened up. But I got it because of the, that. But then also this is not necessarily the oldest version, but I thought this was a pretty cool example of the Parcheesi board. So pretty vintagey look. Again, probably from the 80s, but the look is going to look good hanging on the wall. Another one which I picked up specifically to hang on the wall. The box, unfortunately, is in horrible shape. It's Twister. Now, I have seen actually at an antique mall this is in really bad shape. I mean, there's like pieces of it flying off. So I wouldn't feel bad doing this. I'm not sure I will, but one of the things I've seen is I would have to get a pretty large frame, but you actually get a pretty decent sized frame, and then you just cut the game board box to the size of the frame. Instant art. Now, I would never want to do that to a good box or something that, has the contents, but a lot of times they sell the boxes empty, or this one, the art is actually, the cover is actually in pretty good shape. It's the sides that are really torn up. So this would actually frame pretty nicely. So I may save this specifically to do that. But the reason I got it, again, twofold, it had a catalog in it. This one's a little measly, but it'll be easier to frame. So it's a single sheet. Fun Lovers Everywhere, Milton Bradley games. So color, I don't know, probably again 80s. I don't think this is super, super old, but how cool is this going to look on the wall? So I'm just going to have this setting up there, and it's actually motivated me to find other games, maybe some other spinners, and just have maybe do one of those little ledges and just have some spinners, just sitting on the ledge, add some color, just fun. I'm weird, okay, but that's how I think. You can decorate with vintage. And if we wanted to play Twister, it comes with a game board. So, not board so much, but the big vinyl thing. I could, who knows what kind of parties I'm going to have. I can play Twister. So we got that one. And then actually, before I show you the best piece, let me show you some more of the rule books that I got. So most of these came from the same person. So I don't know if it was something they specialized in. They had other stuff, so I don't think that they specialized in it. But for whatever reason, they had a lot of them. And unfortunately, I don't remember which was which. But I did find these through multiple people. So kind of keeping with the other ones that are the catalogs, this one I thought was cool, that I might frame it just like this. So I just think the font on that is pretty cool. But if you open it up, it also kind of is a little mini catalog showing the other games that they had available. And then some art on the other side. So again, if I frame it open, you lose some of it. So I might mix it up. I do kind of like that font, though. I thought this was fun. Everyone knows Monopoly. Everyone knows how to play Monopoly. But this is rules for a short game. I'm not sure I knew there were rules for a short game. So I don't know, again, how old this one is. If it says anywhere on here. Well, it's got the copyrights. Last one on there is 1961, it looks like. So it's probably before 1971, which is when it looks like they were renewing it every 10 years. So, pretty decent age there. This one, do I have a duplicate? Is this the same? No, it is not. So this is the catalog that came in that one game. And here's the one that I just got. So it's the same format, though. It kind of opens up. Oh, but it has different games in it. So it's Parcheesi, Supermarket, Blast Off, Prospecting, Mr. B. So some of these I think are familiar and are in the other one. So I'll maybe find a bunch of, maybe if I used a big poster frame, these long ones, I could just kind of like stack them together. And that way I don't have to worry about trying to find a frame. I'm never going to find a frame this size. So maybe putting them into a larger would be cool. This is one of my favorites. It's not old, but how fun. It's the rule book for 2 to 6 players for Risk. So I just love the art on that one. Definitely later than the others, but I want to have some color too. So that'll just get framed as is. The little Monopoly, this definitely came from the same place. The little Monopoly short game also came with a Monopoly full game. This one's kind of boring though. Yeah, so I don't know if there's really nothing to frame on this one. I could kind of close it up and just, got the Monopoly name. There's a black and white version of the Risk rules, and then this version of the Risk rules. But the color one, this you can see across the room. And I think this is something that people like. This is what I remember. Like, this is the Risk look that I remember growing up. So again, I can do inexpensive frames, go to the dollar store and buy, little frames for some of these and kind of scatter them around the walls. Maybe have some of the board games in between. Who knows? I'm not big into growing it over time. I kind of I do a shotgun approach of like everything at once so that I can actually lay things out. Because once you start putting holes in your wall to hang the frames, you don't have to move it. Because, oh no, I've got another great little frame that needs to fit in. Well, too bad. I've just got a big old hole in the wall. So I want to get enough of these that by the time she moves out, I'm going to have to repaint because, no offense, her room is pink and I'm not keeping a pink room. So I got to repaint the room. So I've got some time before I need to worry about it, but it's a fun collection to try and build and very inexpensive. Nothing I've shown. I think the Boondoggle game that I bought was the most expensive one, but it's got age to it. It's got that cool board. Totally worth it. I still think that was, I think I paid him $10. So it's still a super reasonable price for a pretty unique piece that I have a feeling most people aren't going to know that game. So, you're looking for conversation pieces too. But my favorite item I'm not going to say my favorite. It's coolest, unique. I don't know. I'll just show you, but I'm saving it for the last because I think it is one of the most interesting. So I showed you this version of the game, and again, very traditional. Everyone's familiar with it. It's the same type of game that I remember growing up. I don't really say I played it a lot. I think I vaguely remember how to play it, but these holes were designed to then hold marbles. So when it's flat, they would sit in here, not roll around. And it was a fairly easy game to have. You had multiple players and they all had different colors. What I had not ever seen before is this. So this is also and I'm going to do a little bit of a disclaimer. I apologize if the term Chinese checkers is no longer politically correct. I don't know what the term should be. This is calling it Qinggong Oriental Checkers for 4, revised edition. And you can see on there, it was made by the Samuel Gabriel Sons of New York. So I did a little bit of digging. And now you can kind of look at this and you kind of, I'll open the inside. You can kind of, I make some guesses. I would have said this was probably from the 30s. It turns out that the Samuel, what did I just say? It's the Samuel something, Samuel Gabriel Sons and Company. They were founded in 1907 and they were bought out and changed their names in the 30s. I can't find anything more specific than that. So I don't know when in the 30s, but you figure the Great Depression started in 1929. So they probably just couldn't survive on their own. So they got merged into another company and it changed names. So this is probably from the late 20s, early 30s based on what I'm about to show you. So first, it is a wood box. When's the last time you bought a game that had a wooden box? You then open that box and you have a pretty large sized game board. So it's got the same sticker on there. Now I did a little bit of Google searches on this. This artwork and this name does show up on other versions of the game that appear to be smaller and also have lower quality pieces. I'm about to show you the pieces too. So this one happened to have a number on it. This says number 97. Some of the others I saw higher numbers. So I think this might have been one of the earlier ones that they made. I'm not sure what the numbers meant, but another piece that I think was later said 99. So anyway, and then you open it up and check out these graphics. The colors on this, considering this is from the 30s, this must have been sealed up in this box. Isn't that absolutely fantastic? This is going to look so cool hanging up on the wall. So you get the board, you get the great box. The box actually says property of Francis P. Sayers, MD. And it's written like 3 separate times. MD is always added to the end of the name. It had taped into it. The tape is long since deteriorated, but the rules, there's no year on the rules either. But it's got the same font, how to play it. But if you think about the board, it's a regular game board, no marbles. Put marbles on there, they're going to roll off. So check out the pieces. These are all wood. So you've got red, you've got green, you got yellow, and you have blue. Now, I paid up for this, and admittedly, I have not tested it to make or counted it to see if the pieces are complete, because to be perfectly honest, I don't know how many pieces it's supposed to have. There's a bunch of every color, but I don't know how many pieces you're supposed to have. I haven't tried to tie it, but I don't care. Like, what I'm buying it for is for the board, for the art, and just the concept of what this is. I'm probably not going to play it, so I don't really need the pieces. And what I paid, although I did pay up, I paid way more than $10. I feel like I paid exactly what I wanted to pay. I do not feel I overpaid at all, because let's be honest, if you walked into an art gallery and this was hanging on the wall, what do you think you'd pay for it? You would not pay Goodwill prices. And so I didn't pay Goodwill prices. I paid for something probably pretty unique. I mean, there were others that were out there, but how many of them have survived? And again, the condition on this, I cannot believe how bold these colors still are. I mean, this is going to look fantastic. Kind of puts this one to shame, but super happy to have gotten this one. And I think it's going to be a super, super great piece to add to the game room. So that's it. That is what I wanted to showcase. Again, I might be growing this collection over time. I tend to go in fits and starts, but they're kind of motivated because I will be changing all of these things up this summer. And I think this has given me a really good start. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you found some of what I found interesting. If you collect any board games yourself, or if you have any favorite vintage games in particular, something I should be on the lookout that has great graphics, or even something you think I should play, or have when I bring my friends over that we should play together, hey, let me know what it is in the chat. So thanks so much for watching the video. Thanks for putting your trust in Trusty Huckster. I'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.
Well, show me a sign if you're wishing me to stay. Otherwise, I say goodbye, finish out the day. And that sunrise in the morning and you got nothing to say. Oh, that's when I'll be headed on my